I figured out your schedule. It only took a year.
But at about 3 miles in, I looked down at my Garmin, and it showed my heart rate was 45. You can shoot that dude as many times as you want. In a true active shooter situation, you've just left it laying on the floor in the room.
Welcome to the Put Work In podcast. We're having technical difficulties, so if you see us in and out, it's just because, we like to make it fun.
Well,
we don't want it to be too.
Just got hit by an EMP, so we're just kind of in and out.
We don't want it to be too, straightforward. I think it's a local thing because another guy said his internet went down, but it was just kind of brief, I guess, because we're back in it, baby. And you may have noticed by now that we have another person here that y'all have never seen before. It's his first time. This is your third time.
Only his 12th time here.
One more time, I'm gonna get me some fake earmuffs and put them on. Make it look like I'm
right.
Like
just get you some furry ones.
Just get some ear.
Just wear your ear protection.
Furry ones. Okay, there's the question of the day. If a service animal can fly on an airplane free, and someone claims to be a furry, then can someone claim them as their emotional support person and fly on the airplane free?
Surely.
Yeah,
I think we need to.
We gotta do that for the Alaska trip coming up.
The logic lines up.
In this country, it does.
Yeah, that line of logic, whether it's logical or not, lines up. So, welcome back for the third time.
Hey, my pleasure.
You're basically, you're here more than Peyton is.
Because Peyton has a real job. That's
what he says. That's what he says, anyway.
You'll never know when I'm asleep and when I'm not asleep. It's just kind of like...
I figured out your schedule. It only took a year. Because I'm pretty sure it took you a year to figure it out, too.
You figured it out already? I haven't.
That's true. You try something new and it throws you off for 3 months.
I'm just hoping, now that I can say it, I couldn't say it last week, but now that Jonathan's done quit, maybe I'll get moved back to day shift here soon, man. That'd be nice.
Maybe so. Who knows?
Maybe so. It's going down.
For real.
We can work out together?
You think that's why I'm doing it? I'm just trying to be healthy.
Well, obviously, but we're talking about benefits besides the actual getting to sleep part.
Oh, yeah, you mean you get to work out with me now?
Yeah. And we could go on a backpacking trip.
Yeah. I
was just talking to him before the government clipped our internet connection. But I was like, hey, we can go on a backpacking trip. Now I'm getting there equipment-wise. I ordered a backpack.
Oh, what'd you get?
I used one. I got the exact same one Peyton has. But,
awesome.
I'm not saying it's the best one, but it was half price.
Hey.
And I liked it.
That's the best one.
Yeah. It's worth it to me. It's only $40. So I was like,
hey.
It looked legit when Peyton had it, so.
Yeah, it looks like a backpack. It works.
Yeah, it looks like it'll fit something in there.
You just don't get too thick of stuff, and you'll be.
Yeah, I got to get a sleeping bag. So I got a couple of questions to ask you regarding equipment, because I've actually started camping since the last time you came on. I've camped twice.
Awesome.
One with Peyton. Both terrible nights of sleep, but we'll get to that later. But first off, I wanted to mention how I went to Walmart at the end of the ice storm. If you don't know, we had we live in Mississippi, so if ice comes down, it shuts us down. We're not equipped to handle that, and it was just you couldn't drive, really. That there's still ice on the ground right now. I don't know how people are driving. I saw a pile of ice in Piggly Wiggly. They should not have the schools open right now. So,
yeah.
But anyways, it shuts us down. So I was and everybody always mentions like the ice storm of '94 or whatever.
Yeah.
Because the power was out for so long or whatever. Every time somebody hears about an ice storm, it's kind of, Armageddon grocery hauls going in, bread and milk. And so I went to the Walmart, and if you don't know, Walmart's really slept on when it comes to camping gear, because I never thought of Walmart as a place to get any type of camping gear, but they have like a full row, like more than Dick's Sporting Goods, but these are our local places. I'm sure you go to fancy places, like I know you go to REI.
I typically do it all online. I go to REI when I want to return something.
See, when I go shopping, if it's right there in front of me, I'm a whole lot more likely to buy it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
not me,
I saw this online.
See, online it feels like it's not real money.
Yeah,
I'll spend more. But
go ahead.
Just click.
You can see the actual link of the sleeping bag too.
Yeah. So actually, I bought a bunch of stuff, but I did notice that the camping section was wiped out.
Yeah.
Like I think it has to do with the storm. And I just wanted to draw a parallel there of like being prepared for like ice storms and stuff like that. And camping, if you can be a good camper and not glamping, but like literally living out there with no technology, you could pretty much be prepared and survive a lot of things.
Oh yeah.
At least have experience. You're basically putting yourself out there you're like, who needs who needs electricity, right? I'm just going to go, I got this nice $100,000s of dollars house I could stay in. I'm going to go stay in the woods. For
That's
fun.
what we did as soon as they were predicting the ice, not just snow, but ice. And that's what we did. I keep most of my items that are typically I carry on every backpacking trip. I keep them in my backpack. So all I do is go pull my backpack out and put it in the bedroom or some place that's easily accessible. I mean, we have cook stove, we have gas, we have about everything. Even if it gets cold, like you say, we've got the goose down sleeping bag.
Yeah.
We got about all we need. Some, dehydrated meals, Peyton, and we're ready to go.
Yeah, and that's kind of like one thing I want to like build out is that backpacking bag, just because it has so many parallels with like just being prepared, surviving.
How tall are you, Dylan?
5'10".
5'10". Hey, look, if you go to Walmart in Batesville right now, go in the clearance aisle. They have a youth camping combo you can buy. It's got the tent, sleeping bags, and everything. $30.
Really? I think Abby showed me that.
I did. I saw them today. I always check the clearance aisle. I need anything or not, I check the clearance aisle. Hey, it actually would. All seriousness, it would be good for kids, especially if you're just going on a weekend camping out, especially if you're what they call car camping, when you're going to drive to a campsite and camp from that. It would be great for the kids.
Yeah, there's a lot more stuff you can. There's a difference between backpacking, which I haven't gotten into, but I'm preparing. Like that's what I'm aiming for,
right?
And just we're just like what I've been doing is just driving up, and there's a couple extra luxuries you can have if you just have a car right there.
It is, but it's a good way also. You can use it as a good way to prep for backpacking because you just limit yourself and stay with what you would carry with you. Right. The only difference would be you're not hiking into wherever you're going to camp.
Just your car's your backpack,
Exactly.
No. Pack your pack. Carry everything with you. Once you get out of the vehicle, just go ahead and lock it. Get away from it and camp that night or weekend, whatever.
Yeah. That's exactly what I'm trying to do. Like, we have like a thing we're doing in a month. It's 8 of us, I think 8 guys, and we're doing fitness, we're camping. I don't know what Peyton has planned for us, but it's gonna be really fun. But we're like, when I'm preparing and like my packing list and what I'm bringing, I'm thinking backpack. Like, I want to just be able to take a backpack and just have it ready and be like, all right, I'm going camping. Just throw it in the car and go. Well, we got something going on.
Emily trying to sneak in without being seen, so I was kind of, I can hear her going.
Just put her on the spotlight. Yeah. Because I've been trying to get my wife to go camping for the past month, which I used my birthday as the reason, because my birthday was like a month ago. But we had the ice storms. That put us off for 2 weeks because it was so cold.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, I don't know what happened last week, but we couldn't do it. And then this week, at first, like the radar was like showing like no rain.
Oh yeah.
So by the time I had convinced her to send the kids off and me and her go camping. We saw the radar, but I was like, "We're going." You know, we on the land we camp on. We have a cabin too, so we actually ended up in the cabin. But that's a long story. We spent half the night.
Friday evening and Friday night would have been okay, at least where we are in Enid. But come Saturday,
it was.
It went from sunny, shiny, and warm to drizzly to rain to cool.
It was fine until the fire got so wet that it wouldn't burn. So it got cold, and we don't have sleeping pads, which I'm looking for.
Never too wet to burn. That's what you said.
Well, when the wood I was working with, there's an exception, but all that wood out there is rotted. It's just been sitting out there, so it wasn't burning very well. But
it's probably that rodent's fault that they were waiting to hear from on the wet. See if we're gonna have early spring or more winter. It's his fault, I'm sure.
Probably. Well, we finally got her to go camp. I got her to go camping, and you know, she was wanting to go in the cabin. She was not planning on going in the tent, and I convinced her to sleep in the tent, and that lasted till about 3 a.m. Then we went in the cabin. But
yes,
I need what I want from you tonight. You don't have to do it right now. I want a recommendation on sleeping pads. Something that's not going to break the budget, but would be okay. I mean, I could, you know, it didn't. I was going to sleep there all night, even if I slept good or not.
Right.
But that's something I got for you to do.
A lot of that
homework.
Well, there's things to consider for your sleeping pad. Number one, different people like different thicknesses. I mean, you can get them anything from an inch to up to 4. One of them I use is 4 inches, and that's because I don't have to blow it up super tight, so it still has some give and it's comfortable. But if I'm not a good back sleeper. I roll and toss and turn all night. So when I turn on my side, my hip bone and my shoulder bone doesn't collapse through the sleeping pad and contact the ground. So I'm not bone on ground that way. So that's one of the things to consider, how thick of a pad you want. But the biggest thing is they make multiple season pads. The temperature you're going to be sleeping in is a huge factor in your sleeping pad. Your sleeping pad has as much to do about your comfortableness or temperature regulating when you're sleeping as your actual sleeping bag does. You can get the best sleeping bag in the world just about, but if you're sleeping in a sleeping pad that's letting everything from the ground come straight up to direct contact with you, your sleeping bag will not be as efficient, therefore not as effective, if you've got a good sleeping pad. Peyton and I, when we went on our last trip where he tried to kill me, I'm still trying to working on forgiving you on that. But anyway, it was predicted, 27 degrees or something, like 20. It was below freezing. It was predicted. And we really didn't know what the environment we would be camping in. And actually, we wound up down in a low hole, right along water, a running creek. So you've got moisture. It's already cold. Now, we were sleeping in a tent, not hammocks that night, and we set up. But I have my sleeping bag is a 40-degree sleeping bag I got off of Amazon for like $60. It's goose down, which you don't want to get that wet either. I mean, especially a cheap one, because you'll lose all its insulating properties, with that. But what I did, I had my sleeping pad, and I'd have to look on my REI to make sure exactly. It's a Cedar Summit is what it is, but it's 4 inches thick, and they have R ratings. I mean, and that is awesome. It used to not be standardized across the board. Now there's a standardization to the R ratings on sleeping pads. Every company might make their own standard up. So you weren't necessarily comparing oranges to oranges. And now there's a standard. And in most of them, when you look at it, it will show you if it's a 2 point R value, 2.2. It'll show you basically is that a 1 season, 2 season, 3 season, or 4 season, and it'll give you an approximate temperature rating that it's good for. So I took that. That was the best one I had. I wanted to spend more money to get a. I think mine's like 3.2 or something, R factor rating. Man, I wanted to spend the money and get a Nemo Tensor Extreme. It has an 8 point something rating. It's like the highest rating sleeping pads you can buy, but they didn't have one in stock anywhere I could even get it shipped to me. At least REI didn't. I like REI because I can take stuff back if it just don't work. You just don't like it. It don't have to be defective. If it just didn't work for you, you have a year, up to a year. You can take it back. You get reimbursed or swap it out, whatever you need to do. So I really enjoy that. I'm not promoting REI. It's just there are some advantages to that. But I did that. I took my Sea to Summit, and I took it. I had also I used one of those Z folding pads, the little thin pads. I put it down. First thing I did was I have a Gossamer Gear thin pad, they call it. It's only an 1/8 of an inch thick, but it's worth 0.5 R value, so everything counts. And that's the thing. If you're not going to do a lot of cold weather camping, you don't want to invest the money probably to buy a super high or upper high R rated value. What you can do is get a good one that's good for most of all of your camping. And then like the little Z pad, those things don't cost much at all, but they're like 2. You can get them up to 2, 0.0 R factor. And anything you put on top. Yeah, exactly. So by the time I was sleeping,
skip 5 of those Z's.
That's it, man.
Have a 10.
By the time I got to, I had my thin pad down, I had my Z pad down, then I had my actual Sea to Summit sleeping pad down. I was up at a high 5, almost 6, which is super good. We slept that night. It didn't get as cold as they said, but I literally had to, during the night, use the zipper, which I'd never used before on my sleeping bag. I'd always used it like an open blanket. But I had to use the zipper during the night to prevent sweating so I wouldn't get too cold. So, it worked out good. So,
and then when he got up to pee at 2 in the morning, I never went back to sleep. So.
Do you have a sleeping pad, Peyton?
I do not. I should have kept
You didn't bring one. I know you didn't have one when we camped.
I'm actually about to buy one right now.
Buy 2 of them.
No, I'm buying ear protection over here, and while we were talking, I was just looking at some stuff.
That's what I've learned. I actually learned this the first time we went camping, that a sleeping pad was needed, because it was me, Peyton, and Peyton Franklin, and Franklin did not bring a sleeping bag, so we kind of all shared one. I don't know what Peyton Cook did, but I know me and Franklin shared a sleeping bag, just open, because it was very hot.
Yeah.
And we were like it was like a 3-man tent, but that's like, we're 3 big dudes, so
yeah,
it was very physical touch in there, but half naked in there, and we're not going to get into any more details about that, but
if there's not pictures, it didn't happen.
Yeah. But we started out hot and woke up cold. I noticed, like, even this past weekend, it was kind of like that. But, yeah, definitely, I learned my lesson then that I need a sleeping pad, and it's been so long that I forgot my lesson, so I relearned my lesson.
Yeah,
and that's what woke Abby up, is she said her back was cold from the ground.
Yeah,
I sleeping on the ground, I can't sleep on my back just because it's kind of the same way as you. I sleep on my side, so. But sleeping pad, that might be a game changer.
Hey, we have like 4 different sleeping pads. If you want to get them, try them. And even if it's not the exact pad you get, you can find some of the features in them, like the thickness. Is it a self-inflating? Here's a big thing: self-inflating sleeping pads. We carried 2 on our 2 actual what I'd call sleeping pads on our trip on the Penn Holte in Alabama, and one of those, I think Peyton used the self-inflating, and all you do is when you get to camp and set everything up, you just open the valve and it's got foam in it that's kind of zigzag. It's Z stacked. That when you roll it up, it collapses. You get there, you just open the valve, and it all comes back to its original form. And then when you start to get in bed, you may put a puff or two of air in it just to get it to the how tight you want it, how stiff you want the sleeping pad to be for the night. Mine, that 4-inch dude, it's 78 inches long, 25 inches wide, 4 inches thick. But it's got they've got some super stuff now. They got that little blow-up bag, that bellow bag. That dude's bad news. You ask Peyton, you would never think.
I've seen somebody use that.
4 breaths. On the 4th breath into that thing and rolling it up, it will pop that bellow bag out off of my pad because it's too full.
So full.
Yeah, I mean, it's under. And we're just talking about a breath. It'd take you forever. It'd take you forever if you was to try to blow that dude up with just your mouth. I don't know how that works, but it works.
Especially with like a 32 heart rate, man.
Hey, somebody's on my watch. What's that? Look, y'all got me excited. I'm 101 right now.
Let's go.
I know
how much caffeine have you taken today? Oh, you're doing some right now.
I'm at a solid 62.
They're not they definitely aren't gonna come after you today, Peyton, because you shaved. So
yeah, well, I don't know. I got to look at you can still see like where the stuff was.
People have been making fun of him, like they don't agree with what we say in our shorts, and they'll like make fun of his mustache for no reason. They'd be like, "I'm offended at this. Your mustache sucks."
Yeah.
Wait till you get old.
All right, we have a comment. Owen Rains says hello. That's my brother-in-law.
Hello, Owen.
He wants to go camping with me. He wanted me to go get one of those youth things.
3 of them.
I told him, he said 3 of them.
The $30 deal. Hey, they had more than 3. The $30 deal, man.
You'll get 17 of them. All right, let's see. So what do you think? I know you've talked about this before, but we might have newer listeners on.
Uh-huh.
What are if you're going to start camping?
Yep.
What gear? What's the first thing you want to buy? The very first thing.
Camping or backpacking?
Camping. Like if you just want to start with camping and then transition to backpacking.
Well, see, that's hard to say because I would say shelter first. But there's some people, depending on the weather, what they call cowboy camp. They lay their pad out on. Say again.
Yeah, just out in the open.
Just in the open. Yeah, it's just you lay a pad down, and if you've got the cover or whatever, you use that. I would probably say for me, especially in Mississippi, because it may be nice weather. You're probably gonna have mosquitoes, insects,
dragons.
So I would most likely say start with the shelter. Now, if we're talking about backpacking. They say pick your big 3. But I will say that a lot of times you see now, they say if you're going to buy a backpack, specifically for backpacking, especially for a specific trip, then you buy your other items, and that will determine how much volume capacity of a backpack you need. So you need to buy that towards the end once you know how much room capacity you're going to need. But the shelter, I would think, would be number 1, just like the other night. Even though y'all were in a tent, shelter was important. That's why she wanted to get into the cabin. We always need shelter. It may not be protective enough from what they call the widowmakers, which are treetops, tree limbs, trees themselves that you really have to. One thing that a lot of people don't think about when they go camping is checking for widowmakers. Look up. We always look down to see if there's rocks and stuff. Those are not life threatening, but falling tree limbs, falling trees, those can be life threatening and taking. So you always, when you're picking that spot, don't ever forget to look up, not just down. But I would say shelter.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was laying in the tent and it was raining. And I was like, man, I hope a tree limb doesn't fall down. But I was like, well, it's not a crazy storm out right now, but still, it doesn't make sense if there's like a dead tree limb up there.
That's it. It doesn't even have to be bad windy or bad stormy. It can just be the timing of it.
It might just be the timing.
Yeah, anything can drop dead, kind of like Peyton tried to do me, but the old man survived.
Well, what happened? Tell us what happened. You hinted at it twice.
Oh, no. I'm just still mad at him. But anyway, no, that who knows? The doctors hadn't even figured it out yet. We go in. Look, I had been on that same trail, the section leading up to where I came off the trail, exactly where that girl dropped, the shuttle driver dropped us out in the road. Well, she drops us out. We head up the trail. I'd been there a month before, did 12.3 miles in under 4 miles on that trail. I actually even jogged about a mile, a little over a mile of it. Felt great, felt good. I've had, historically, over the past several years, I've had issues with getting enough air. So that's not a new thing to me, but it's never been anything that stopped me. So it might slow me down a little, and I might have to pace myself. But boy, Peyton and I got on that trail. I mean, as soon as we hit the first little bit of incline, I mean, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't get enough air. I was having to stop and lean on my trekking poles or on a tree, find a down tree or a stump and sit on it. I mean, we're talking about that might be less than 100 yards. When I get up and start going, I had to stop again. Poor Peyton come back one time and just checked on me. He said, "I'll make sure you hadn't fall down in a ditch or nothing in the creek." You know, and I appreciate it. But I said, "Man, just go on." Look, that dude was at the campsite with a fire going by the time I got there. So sometimes being slow isn't necessarily bad, you know, if you don't want camp duty. But
Yeah.
you know, I just couldn't get enough air. We went in mine marked right at 7 miles. I think his watch logged 1,700 feet of elevation, which is not a lot of tremendous elevation over 7 miles. It's really not. So the difficulty of the terrain did not explain the difficulty I was having hiking. We get to the camp. Once I'm going downhill or flat, I was great. Got there. Peyton was doing the fire. I was pitching the tent. He came over and helped me get a good set on it. And we were both doing different things, got in it and went to sleep that night. It was good. Started out the next morning. And the first quarter mile was the elevation was straight up, but they did have switchbacks. And we went up there, and sure enough, I mean, I can still see the campsite where the tent was when we crossed that creek and started up. And I hadn't gone, I bet you, 30 yards up elevation or incline, and I'm already leaning on a tree. Once we got that quarter of a mile up on top of the hill and leveled out, because most all that was road walking from that point on, I had no difficulty breathing. We averaged 3 point something miles an hour on that 6 point something miles. But at about 3 miles in, I looked down at my Garmin, and it showed my heart rate was 45. So I took a picture of it and sent it to my son, Jonathan. You know, I said, "Hey, look at the old man," you know. And I said, "I wish I could claim that was good cardio, but I really think I'm just dying," you know. So I never felt anything, wasn't dizzy. I mean, of course, the day before, it was hard breathing, but I never felt bad. But we marched it on in, got to the Jeep, really didn't, you know, it stayed around 45 most of the time when I was looking at it. But never felt anything. Got in the Jeep and started home. Had my iPhone up on the dash for my little GPS map. And when I opened it up, it was my Garmin Connect page. And my heart rate was 33. And I was like, "Oh, that's not good. I've been there before." And the doctor chewed me out. So I left it there and kept watching it. And it stayed down a little 30. It would bump back up to 40 something or maybe 50. And it'd go back down to 30. One time when I looked, it was 29. And actually, the ER in Oxford told me had my heart rate hit 29 while I was in the ER, they would have started chest compressions on me. I said, "Well, I'd open my eyes, tell you I'm sorry to inform you, but I'm still alive." Yeah. So
I'm right here.
wound up. I called a paramedic friend of mine, you know, and I said, "I'm calling you because I know if I call my PCP, they're going to tell me to pull this Jeep over and get to an ER." And I talked to him, but when it went all the way down to 29, I'm like, I better call and let them know. So I called my primary care physician's office. She wasn't there, but the nurse was. She was very helpful. She stayed on the phone for over 8 minutes with us. And of course, once I started reading my current, at that time, heart rate out to her, she told me, she said, "You need to pull over, stop driving, and get to the nearest ER." I knew they was going to say that, and that just wasn't in my plans for the day. Now I'm talking, I say something. Now here's what you got to hear now. That little smiling dude over on the other side of that screen. Look, That nurse, she heard me say something, and she said, you got somebody with you? And I'm like, yes, ma'am. She said, well, you need to pull over and let him drive. That sucker wouldn't drive, man. Let me tell you, he stayed over there watching a football game, sleeping. And I'm like, dude, we're just going to die together then, if I pass out at the wheel. But I didn't feel bad at all. I mean, honestly. Actually, the ER doctor, even though they have checked my Garmin 3 different times at a doctor's office to see if it was accurate in calculating heart rate, and all 3 times it was dead on with their equipment. Well, what the ER doctor thought was he doesn't think my heart rate actually got to 29. He thinks I was skipping beats, and my Garmin didn't know how to process it skipping beats. So it was just trying to calculate it, and with it skipping beats, it calculated that I was hitting 29, and he didn't believe that. So I've had some tests done. I went the next morning. I came home 3 or 4 times that night. It dropped back down to the 30s for a 2-minute average. So we went to the ER in Oxford the next day, and they did a EKG, and the ER doctor said, "Oh, it's fine." And with my history of a brain tumor, he said, "Well, when's the last time you looked at that?" And I'm like, 2017. He's like, "Well, let's look at that. Maybe that's causing this." So they sent me to get a CT and an MRI. I wish you could have been there, honestly. My man comes backing into the room, pulling his little cart that has his laptop up on the top of it. He leaves it right in the doorway, and he turns around and he says, "Did they ever tell you what kind that was?" I said, "Well, no, I've never let them biopsy it." He said, "They've never told you what it was or given you a name for it?" I said, "No, sir." I said, "I've never let them biopsy it, so that's just been brain mass or whatever." So he says, "Let me read you what the radiologist said." So he turns around, walks back to his little laptop. He starts logging in, and he turns to me. He said, "I'm telling you, I called the radiologist to verify they didn't mix your films or your report up with another patient, because I'm telling you, the patient these results belong to should not be alive." So he turns around, he starts reading this doctor's report on my brain tumor and its location and its size. And he's just kind of like, he was freaking out, but it wasn't news to me or God. It's been there, we know, since 2005. And it had grown between 2005 and 2017, but I don't think there's much growth or difference at all between 2017 and when they re-imaged it in the ER. But he's freaking out. I mean, he's standing over by my bed talking to my wife and I, and he looks at me and he said, "I'm telling you, you should be dead." We're talking, and I had my shirt on. I got it Winter Jam from New Song, Newsboys, whoever they are. And it's black and has a big white cross, and across the cross beam it says "Just Jesus" with a period mark behind it. My man was middle of his sentence, and he looks at my shirt and he just stops. He goes, "That's it. That's the only reason you're alive. God's the only reason you're still alive." And I told him, "Oh yeah," I said, "I understand that clearly." So we discussed it. My man forgot all about my heart issue, and he done got me an appointment with a neurosurgeon in Memphis that coming Wednesday. I mean, and he's just like, "We're going to look at one thing at a time, and we're going to get this thing in your head figured out and deal with that." And he said, "Then we'll look at your heart." And I'm thinking, dude, I had a cardiac issue on the trail. I don't care how you read it. We've known this for how many years now? 19 years. I mean, that's not. I wasn't telling him that. I was thinking that. So as soon as I got out of there, I talked to a friend who's friends with a doctor in Oxford. That doctor called and got me an appointment in the Stern cardiology group. They got me in. Well, even before I got there, Dr. May had gone and reviewed my EKG that I had in the ER, that the ER doctor said, "Oh yeah, it's normal." Then I read my chart online, and it says evidence of an anterior infarct. I went, "Oh no," because I did nuclear medicine in the Navy 10 years, and we did heart studies. I'm like, an anterior infarct? That's not good at all. So what it was saying was I'd had a heart attack in the front portion of my heart, which is typically left ventricle, which supplies 80% of your blood volume to your body, which would explain why I couldn't get enough oxygen. I wasn't having enough circulation of blood in order to supply enough oxygen that I needed when I would go under strain. They said that. So when I met with the cardiologist, they said, "Listen, you've had a heart attack, but it wasn't on this trip. That was some time back." And it's probably the first year I ever, in 2017, when I first started exercising, about killed my dumb self. I thought I was hurting so bad just because I was breathing so deep and hard and fast from trying to run, which I couldn't. And that's probably when it happened. So I've probably had this since 2017. And I've just learned to kind of live with it. And thank God I hadn't, pushed it any further or done more damage. But they've done the treadmill test, stress test, and that was crazy. I tell you, they did that. I show up, and she said, "Now, Mr. Howell," she said, "there's not a stopping point for this test. We just go till you have to stop." And I'm thinking, lady, we're going to be here all day if all I'm going to be doing is walking on a treadmill. Well, she laid me down, put that blood pressure cuff on my arm, and she said, "I got to call the doctor. We can't even start your test. Your blood pressure's too high." And I'm like, "What?" She said, "Yeah." So she calls him, and he says, "Well, wait 15, 20 minutes, see if it was the bottom number that was too high. It was within 5 or 6 points of when they would have to stop the test." She said, "We can't start." So we finally waited. It gets back down in the 90s, like that's a good, no, that's terrible on the bottom. So they get it down in the 90s. So she said, "Well, let's get started." We get up on that treadmill. Of course, I count every step as an activity. I'm at a doctor's appointment getting a heart test, and I start my Garmin on a treadmill activity.
See, that's why you can't come to the challenge.
So I started it. Look, you know what my Garmin recorded 0.18 of a mile, and they stopped that test because my blood pressure on top was 277, and they shut the machine down.
Good
I was
Lord.
like, "Oh man!" I didn't feel anything. I wasn't short of breath, but they stopped it. They did an echocardiogram, ultrasound of my heart. So they've got those. They had the results of that. I had to wear a heart monitor for 2 weeks. They're processing that information. It should have already been done, but the mail didn't run for a week out here because of the ice on the ground. So they finally got that. They're processing that. I'm going to follow up on the 19th. And I hope what we find, well, he told me the very first day I went in there, the cardiologist, he said, "We may not figure out what happened on that trail. It's behind us. And if you're not repeating that while we're doing our studies, I can't tell you what happened." He said, "If we get enough indicators from these tests that indicate what probably happened," he said, "then we might, narrow it down by that." But they called me the other day and they said, so far, there's nothing grossly, standing out on any of the tests. So, I don't know. I don't know what happened that day.
Guess it's time to go on another trip.
I think it's time to go on a diet. I think I was just too old, fat, and out of shape.
That
Well,
may have
round
something
is
to
a shape.
do with it.
Round is a shape. They
It
say,
is. So we do have a couple of chats. You got something to say, Peyton?
Yeah, I want to say I've heard them tell this story, several times now, but this is the first time I've actually heard them mention the fact that at one point, because I remember we had got Chick-fil-A, I think.
Oh,
we were
yeah. I got
we were in the
12 nuggets.
Yeah, we were in the parking lot of Chick-fil-A, and I'm going through the bag, getting our food, my food out, and his food's like, "Hey, man, my watch just hit like 27 or 28 beats per minute." I'm over here like, man, who am I going to call first when this dude dies in this driver's seat over here?
Better be calling Jesus.
You going to be calling Jesus?
Oh, I'll be shaking hands with him. Peyton better be calling on him. Yeah, it was kind of crazy.
Well done.
It was crazy for a little while, but here I am.
Yep, we're here.
So I enjoyed the trip. Hey, I've already gone on there and I've mapped out 2 different sections that we can do the next time. The next section that picks up from where we hiked back to what they call the Pinhoti Outdoor Center. So when we finish that, there's a next section that goes north from it, but it's a lot of road walking. But if we skip that 10 miles, go above it, ever how many, I've got a 19-mile section marked out that we can hike back south to that. And most all of that's going to be in the woods, off roads and everything. So
sounds like fun.
Oh, yeah.
Let me know. I'm ready.
Hey.
Well, I'm not completely, I don't have the gear all, but you have gear I could borrow probably.
Oh, yeah. So. Spring break, they're already, I was looking ahead going, hey, I wonder if we can do this on spring break. But they're showing freezing weather. It's spring break again, that other front that's coming back through.
Let's get it.
I would say like 90% of the gear I used on that trip was his.
Yeah.
Like I used my own sleeping bag and obviously my clothes and stuff.
Hey.
But like
shoes.
Everything else was his.
Hey. All right, so we have a commenter.
Oh,
You go ahead. Go ahead.
Oh no, I didn't have anything.
Okay. So you're gonna like these comments, but Carson said, "Who do you guys think would win hand-to-hand comment between the three of us?"
Hand-to-hand comment or
Combat.
combat.
Fighting.
Well, if I'm doing hand-to-hand combat, my right hand's going to have a Glock in it. I mean, don't bring no knife. Don't
like
bring
that.
a knife to a gunfight, dude.
Don't bring no hand to a hand-to-hand combat.
That you can call that hand. I mean, it's a handgun. I mean, so hey, I consider that hand combat. I'm too old and slow to fight anymore. I don't fight anymore. I'll shoot you.
You can't even run, can you?
No, I can't run. I can't fight. You know, so listen, I'm telling you, whoever's watching this, for you or anybody you love, you better get the word out. This old fat man will shoot you.
And pray for you after that.
And I'll wound you first. I'll wound you first and make sure you know Jesus. But if you say yes, you gone. I mean, we hooking y'all up with a meeting firsthand. Now, if not, you know, I'll witness to you first, you know. Then if you get saved, well, you going on. I mean, it's just, hey, that's
9mm.
And all that's right. He ain't got to run, man. He can carry that body away.
You never did go
walking with weight.
You never did go into your. I don't know if you might have told us, but with your you thing that happened at Grenada.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, man, this is bad. This. What's your podcast rated?
Z.
Okay, is that X, Y, Z? So it's even past X.
That's all the way.
Everything.
Well, look, I got some. I had to get some counseling, man. That messed me up in my head when my man reached through my window, grabbing my package, and I'm not talking about my backpack.
This ain't no UPS.
Yeah, it wasn't no UPS package, and it messed me up. I'm telling you, man. It was rough for a little while, and I'd have never figured that. But so. In the counseling session, a counselor tells me, he says, you know, there are people who meet up in locations, known locations, and they have signals of to what level they want to engage in those type of activities. And I'm like, what? So I was dumb enough to go Google it. Oh, my goodness. I think it's more of a term used in like the UK than here. Because even when I used it, went to court, and when I talked to the prosecuting attorney, when I talked to the defense attorney, and to the investigator, none of them had ever heard this terminology. And of course, the prosecuting attorney, my attorney, standing beside me. I mean, the defense attorney, she's standing right beside me. When I said it, I can see her get on her phone, and her face was like, she couldn't believe what she's reading. She starts reading it out loud. We're in one of the back chambers of the courthouse. Because what I did was, hey, I researched it. You know, it's called dogging. I don't know if y'all have ever heard that. If you're a porn watcher, you know the term. But anyway, because when I looked up the term, I'm like, turn this off. Somebody, man, if Verizon gives my church a printout of what I Googled, oh, no, I'm fired, man. But, it is terrible. It's terrible. But what I learned was for people who engage in the activity of dogging, if you pull into one of those known areas, stay in your vehicle and roll your windows down, that says that you're okay with fondling you through your window. Well, guess what this idiot did? Yeah, buddy. Because look, when my man, he rolled up once when I was at the back of my Jeep mixing my Redcon 1 Total War. Anyway, we'll give you a tag to that in the comments later. But anyway, when I'm back there mixing that up, he pulls up to the driver's side, doesn't sit there 30 seconds, and leaves. And I'm like, well, okay. So I finished doing my stuff. Well, I had walked to the right of my Jeep and was throwing the empty water bottles away. My man pulls back up and pulls right up on the driver's side of my Jeep. Well, I'm like, I was waiting on somebody who was meeting me there to hike anyway. So I'm like, well, I'm not standing out here and it's hot. So I get in my Jeep. I close everything in the back, get in my driver's seat. Well, it's hot. Well, I'm not going to waste money running the air conditioner in my Jeep. So what do? Sit down in my driver's seat and proceed to roll my windows down in my Jeep and just sit there. Well, I guess my man thought I was one of those people that like to engage in those activities, because when he came to my Jeep and asked, hey, does that trail make a circle and come back? And I looked away from him and pointed away and said, well, if you'll start right there, it makes a loop. And I got about right there, and my brain is going, what are you feeling? I'm like, I don't know. That ain't me. So I turned around and looked. My man had his hand in my package, and so I elbowed him out of the window and put my other hand in his face and said, no. And like a little kid, and this is what really convinced me of this, like a little kid, he just stepped back and was such a, not only shocked, but like shame on his face, and dropped his eyes and said, oh, I'm sorry. Backed away, but went over and started down the trail. So I got out and was able to take a picture of his tag and his vehicle and everything. Well, so I called the investigator after I was exposed to that information online. And I said, look, what he did, he did. But if what he did, he honestly, I said, not that I agree with it. I think it's not only immoral for me and my belief system, it's sinful. But listen, I'm not here to be his priest. My question is this. The way it went down, the look on his face, my question is this. Is that what he thought was taking place? If so, there was no criminal intent. He thought I was giving consent. Well, I never heard back from them. But on the day of court, and I show up, they call my name, motion me. So the prosecuting attorney, that's mine, was the prosecuting attorney, the public DA, assistant DA, and then his defense attorney, who was an awesome, nice guy. He holds he's an attorney, degree of law. But he also has a seminary degree, So we connected well and was discussing. We get in there, and the investigator said, "Would you share with him what you shared with me?" Because my stance was, even though it was wrong, even though he did that, if there was no criminal intent involved. Because if he really believed that's what I was indicating, then to him, it wasn't a criminal offense. It wasn't against my will or nothing else. I said, I'm willing, to drop the charges or whatever, if he will, this probably sounds stupid to some people, promise. If he guarantees he will never do this. I said, look, and if that's his lifestyle, this is his lifestyle. They better find them a better system. I said, he's lucky. I said, and of course, hey, here's a word for Mississippi. I was told multiple times, there is no, where I thought it was going to be, they said it was simple assault, that there is no such thing, they say, for adults in Mississippi as sexual assault. That what he did to me, they do not consider sexual assault. So my question is, well, if my wife's in there, or that defense attorney, if that's your wife sitting in my Jeep or her Jeep, and that happened, would you consider it sexual assault? And they said there is no sexual assault charge in the state of Mississippi for adults. And I'm like, well, that's wrong. That needs to be changed. So anyway, we walked through it. And of course, then the prosecuting attorney, my attorney, she reads the definition of dogging out loud in that room, and everybody, it was kind of quiet for a second or two. And I looked at his attorney. I said, my question is that what your client thought was happening? I said, if that's it, then you can call me foolish, and I've had other people just, he got by with it. No. If that was true, then he didn't have criminal intent. And I said, if that's the case, then his name and his family's name, because his mother is in that same town, has a daycare. I said, their family name doesn't need to be dragged through this court publicly, if that wasn't the intent. Well, he said, well, I can't go out there and ask my client that. I never asked my client if they actually did what they're accused of doing. I'm like, well, that's bad business. But anyway, he said, I can't do that. He said, but what I can guarantee you, because they'd already discussed it, he said, what I can guarantee you is he will never appear in court. He'll never be charged again with this ever again. I can guarantee you that. And so what they offered was to let me remand the charges into a file that if he's not charged with something else, doesn't appear before the court within X number of months, then at that point in time, the charge drops out of the file, goes away. But if he commits another crime, doesn't even have to be that crime. If he's standing at court again, then that comes back to the table and he is held accountable for that charge too. And I was like, I'm good with that. I said, I'm good with dismissing it, if that's what we're saying. And that's how it rolled out, that's a perverted lifestyle. It's a sinful lifestyle. But I did tell his attorney, I said, you better warn your buddy. He better get him a better system. I said, because very seldom am I sitting in that Jeep with my pistol either not on me or literally between my seat and the console. And I asked, I said, so it's not a criminal offense as far as sexual, assault? And he said, no. I said, well, let me ask this. Would I have been justified by law to pull a pistol out and stick it in his face and shoot him? And it was real quiet. And they said, well, he was assaulting you. Yes. I'm like, see, I could have invoked the death penalty on him as being an idiot by doing what he did, when the law says that's not even really punishable, and I'm glad. Listen, I'm glad I didn't. I'm glad I didn't have it. I'm glad I didn't, because I'd have never been able to forget the sound of that pistol going off. I'd have never been able to get the look on his face, the blood, whatever went down. I'd have never been able to get that out of my memory. But what I have now is that I pray and trust that I extended mercy and grace to someone. Even his profile picture and stuff on Facebook was a lifestyle that I don't walk in, and I believe that God declares sinful because of who his partner was in that picture. Immediately the day after that, his profile picture changed, and he don't display that type of lifestyle to any degree on his Facebook page at all. Now, that may have been advised by his lawyer, or it may have been a true life change. My life changed not because I learned what I was doing was sinful, but because mercy and grace was shown to me by God. And mercy and grace wins out over the law every time. And I pray he was able to connect the dots of being shown mercy and grace in the court of law of this land, and that God extends mercy, grace, and forgiveness to anyone who will trust and believe in Jesus. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Ask me another question that takes me 30 minutes to answer.
Is there such thing that exists?
Yeah, no. It takes me longer than 30 minutes to answer anything.
Yeah, we were actually just talking in the comments. You were, because Carson said that, and then he said you probably have that dog in you. And I told him I was going to ask you that question about the hand-to-hand combat when you got done talking. Carson said this is now the Roger cast. He's going to check back in an hour.
My reputation precedes me.
Right. I said you're actually a good guest for when me and Cookie don't have anything to say.
Call him in, he'll talk.
I don't feel like talking tonight. Let's just get him. He'll say something. And we're already almost an hour in, and I feel like we've only asked you 2 questions.
That sounds like my sermons. We'd be at an hour ago. All right, now point number 3.
Hey, you're probably one of those,
and then we got another hour left.
You're one of those preachers that was like, all right, and you're talking for 45 minutes, and then you're like, all right, so my title is...
Exact. I had a guy tell me one time that my sermons really aren't that long. It's the 20-minute introductions and 20-minute closures I add to them.
Yeah, I feel like that's psychological too, because you're like, okay, we're about to be done, and then 20 minutes later makes it seem like so long.
Oh, yeah.
When you already wind down your brain.
Oh, no, I always tell them, hey, if you're diabetic or if you have to take a medicine before you eat, usually about an hour into my sermon, I say, you might want to go ahead and take it about right now. You ought to be good about an hour from now. So,
all right. So Carson said he thinks we're going to be here all day.
It's night.
Yeah.
Paul preached to some dude, went to sleep in the upper window, fell out, broke his neck, died. Listen, he revived my man, went back into the same house, preached till sun up. So don't be dogging on me now.
Hey,
no dogging on the podcast.
Keep that.
No doggy.
Carson said that man got him a good old handful.
Well, that would be an exaggeration. Well, we'll move on.
All right, let's see.
Move on.
Yeah, we'll move on.
In the back of church next week.
Yeah, that's another strike. Carson's trying to get another one. He said, "Can you get Roger to say that the ATF identifies as a male who's attracted to other males?" Carson, that kind of we're gonna move on from that subject there. Lost Signal Design Co. Only remembered the name because it's right here. That's Carson's design company. I'm just giving them a shout out. Y'all go get a graphic design. Hey, if you need any logos for your church, hit Carson up. Lost Signal Design Co.
When y'all come out with merch?
Hey,
that's what I was thinking about the other day, man.
Carson,
we need some
just send us some merch, man. You've never sent us any. He sent us like 5 different batches, and we just like never ran with any of it. But he's got some good stuff. We'll sell at least 5.
I'm trying to wear some hats, man.
Yeah, let's get some hats. You wear a hat?
Me? All right, let's start over.
Are you a golf hat or a ball cap? Yeah, you a golf hat guy.
Yeah, I'm a ball cap. Man, what you mean? That's a pin Houghton. Man, everything. Look, pin Houghton forever.
Ripping the trail. Yeah.
Yep. And the Pin Houghton Outdoor Center. Awesome people. Nathan and Kim Wright. Give them a shout. Look them up. Hey, they got Small Business of the Year for the state of Alabama because they're so people friendly. I mean, they serve people on the trail.
That's cool.
That's cool.
They even took a slice of pizza with me.
They gave him a pizza
that I paid for.
They handed it to him.
We didn't have to pay for the pizza.
What I paid for it for?
You didn't. Who'd you pay?
They got him.
They have a tip jar there to pay for.
Tipping is not paying for something.
No, it's not. It's not. I'm saying that's what it is. It's a little jar. Pizzas are like $8. Hot Pockets are like $2 or $3.
Well, I told you. She said you could have it free. So you put money in there. That was a tip.
Right. You said help.
Good.
She said help yourself. Does that mean free? I don't know. I'm gonna call her up. Say, give me my refund.
Go ahead and do that, brother.
That's what preachers are used to getting free stuff.
Used to, and they used to let you hunt on their land, but not anymore. Ooh, man! I was growing up. My dad's a preacher. We got to hunt everywhere. People invite us home from church to eat and everything. Listen, not anymore. Oh, yeah, I love that. Yeah, we're going to have a pound. We're going to pound the preacher and his family next week. Look, my daddy started preaching and pastoring when I was, I think, 4 years old. And I remember the Saturday morning, I got up and Daddy wasn't anywhere around. I asked Mom, I said, where's Daddy? And she said, he's marrying Kay Hodge. I went to my room. Look, and I'm just squalling, crying. Well, Mama came in there and said, what are you crying about? I said, I don't want another mama. She said, no, he's not marrying her for him. He's doing her wedding. Yeah, life can get confusing in the preacher's house.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we talked about the big gear a little bit. Like, is there anything you think's overlooked? Like anything small accessory like people don't think about that would just come in handy?
Well, I think let me give you personal testimony here. If they don't do any research, really, if they don't look at backpacking, if they look at it as just camping, okay? Now I'm talking about backpacking. I think the one thing we overlooked, because we did a bunch of day hikes, Dane and I did back in 2017, and in those, you just go out for a couple hours and then you come back. and we always carried our water on us. Well, we went to Arkansas, outside of Yaleville, Arkansas, and we were going to do a survival trip for Jordan for his 18th birthday. That's what he wanted to do.
Yep.
So we go over there. I gave this testimony the other day at church. They did the old man wrong. We had one backpack completely full. It was like 30 bottles, that 16.9 ounce bottles of water in that one backpack. Who do they put that on? Oh, the pack mule. You better believe it. And listen, then I had a wooden and metal shovel. Who did they tie that on? Yeah, the old pack mules back. Look, couldn't even walk when we got out of the woods. I mean, it was pathetic. It was bad. But listen, what we did, what I learned, I didn't even learn on that trip. I didn't know anything about it. But now, like when Peyton and I went, we carried 2 water filters with us. We took the primary and took a backup. And if you're actually backpacking, that is one thing. Go ahead.
Man that asked the question just gets up and walks away.
Oh, that's fine. That's good. There you are. There you go.
Ready to roll.
Sawyer. Now, the Sawyer Squeeze, that's a Sawyer Mini. The Sawyer Squeeze, which is a size up from that, is the #1 water filter for thru hikers on the AT and in most places. Peyton carried the Sawyer Squeeze with him, and I had a B-free filtering unit. But mine has a collapsible little plastic bag attached to it that you use it to get your water, and then you screw the top back on and just squeeze the bottle, and it comes through the filter into whatever you're putting it in. First one I started squeezing, Peyton standing there, and he starts like he's swatting mosquitoes at 30 degrees. I'm like, what is it? He goes, your bottle's got a hole in it. I was squirting my man down with a hole in the side of my little, it was a pin-sized hole, so it was like a mist coming out of that dude. But water filter is so important. I would say that would be one. They highly recommend, and I haven't, but they highly recommend that even if you're doing day hikes, to have some type of GPS alert system, like the Garmin InReach, the Mini, one of those that you can press the SOS button that notifies emergency responders. It gives them your location. Now, if you have a iPhone 14 or above, guess what it has?
Oh, I got that.
Even when you don't have you ever been using had your iPhone on, and all of a sudden you go to SOS, and then all of a sudden you see the little icon for the satellite?
Mm-hmm.
You know what that does? That right there works as a satellite SOS. You can send text. It's just, it does the same thing as the GPS units. Now, somebody said, yeah, but you have to be in clear. You can't be under a tree canopy or anything. Well, listen, that's the same thing for those GPS units. You have to have a clear sky for it to talk to the satellite to be able to do what it's designed to do. They may have a little better antenna, ability to reach, maybe when it's a little bit of a canopy between it and the satellites. Oh, he's opening it up now. There it is. You got your little straw? You know what that's for? Yeah, you know what those are for?
I have no idea what any of this is for.
That's when you're filtering water out of creeks or whatever you're filtering out of. Now, number one, those things filter out just about everything, but they can get a lot of sediment in them, and you'll know it because it starts slowing the flow rate of your water down. You just have to squeeze hard and hard. So that is used to back flush your filter, to flush the sediments back out the end that it came in. And it'll clean your filter out and get you back up to a good flow rate. That's what that does.
How you do that?
Yep. Well, you can actually. There you go. Look at you. One of the things I like about my B-free, you just, when you unscrew the filter off the top, and you just put it back down the water and shake it. And that's how you clean it. You don't have to back flush or anything. You just shake it in the water, and it cleans it out, and you just keep on going. But man, listen, my Be Free, I think is, I think they say good for 1,000 gallons. Sawyer, they say 1,000,000, but basically it's lifetime. As long as you'll have to flush it.
100,000.
Yeah. Well, the Sawyer Squeeze.
That's like a lot. It's a mini.
The Sawyer Squeeze, is the one that's, they say 1,000,000, and it's basically lifetime. As long as you take care of it, don't let that dude freeze. I think we talked about that one time before. But you don't let it freeze. If you're in freezing weather, you put it in your sleeping bag with you to keep it protect. Because what it does, it swells those the filter, the filtering mechanism. It'll swell it up, and when it does away with its ability to filter out the germs and bacteria and all that stuff. So I know that was a learning curve for me, going from just day hiking or car camping to backpacking. That was one thing I had to learn that I would have to purchase, and they're fairly inexpensive, and I would need.
Yeah, I got that one on sale at Walmart.
I have one of those identical ones. I bought it at Walmart too.
That's what's up.
Walmart underrated, bro.
Yeah, it's underrated. Didn't I got to find any of that
Ozark
there.
Trail stuff they got me.
I had all this. Like when I went that day, I bought like $150 worth of stuff, and I had all that in my cart, like at home, just like, I'm just gonna hold off. I guess I'm more of like, if I see it and touch it, I'm gonna buy it, especially if I've been looking at it. And I saw that there. I got some purification tablets and stuff like that too. I got a tent. I don't know what all I got, but
we stopped at Dollar General in Pope the other night on the way home, because Walmart never has our coffee creamer anymore, and so we stopped there to get it. And we had a friend that was at the cash register when we walked in. She was checking out. We heard her kind of holler. She done went in there just buy a couple things. $150-something at Dollar General. I'm like, yeah, I've been hollering too.
That's how it is these days. Yeah, I can't go grocery shopping without spending $150.
Oh, it's hard these days.
But anytime I order something, I'm just spending $150. I just spent $180 actually.
What'd you order?
Some ear protection. I got to go back to Amazon. Let's see.
That's some expensive.
Ear protection, a sleeping pad, and a Sawyer Squeeze.
Everything we've mentioned today.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about ear protection, but
I got REI pulled up with some sleeping bags.
You sleep in the tent with me, you may need ear protection from all the snoring I do.
That's funny.
Oh, and Peyton, I didn't think about it because I had set up, my one person. I see that Durston X-Mid one person in my backyard, and I got in it actually on the trail at Sardis. I even had him backpack, so I got out along the trail, set it up on some unlevel ground, checking it out. But the tent we took with us to Alabama, which was a Durston X-Mid Pro 2 Plus, I'd never even pulled it out of the bag. So Peyton came over one day. I think we put it up once or so. Well, we get in the woods and we set it up. Well, I know the next morning, Peyton said, my head, he said, man, I got wet because my head was touching the wall of the tent. You know what old Raj did to you? We should have both had our head on the zipper end, because that's the widest end away from the wall. So you should have had your head on the other end. And I should have had my head on the other end, and we'd have been nowhere near a wall at all. So, but always sleep with your hat on. The bill holds it off your head.
That's what I was thinking as I was flipping around. Like, I'm not gonna make Roger get out of his sleeping bag. It took him 15 minutes to get in it.
Hey, that 2 o'clock morning treat outside to the tree would have been great. You could have said, "Hey, flip your sleeping bag around, man. Put your head on this end." It was a great trip. Hey, I enjoyed it, man. I'm glad Peyton went, and I'm glad we were able to go. It was a good trip, even though I had a lot of difficulty on it. Hey, a difficult day on the trail is better than the best day at work. That's all I can say.
Amen.
It was fun. It was cold weather made it, because I never camped in cold or backpacked or anything other than just running cold. So it's kind of fun.
Right.
There's a lot of things like that you just have to kind of learn as you go.
Oh yeah.
There's so many little things. Like there's no way somebody could teach you everything.
Oh no.
But
all I'm
piece
gonna
of
say
advice:
is
find flat ground.
Oh.
And
You'll be rolling downhill the whole night.
All right, did we tell you how to check that the ground is level for your tent to pitch your tent?
No, go ahead.
Your water bottle.
That's smart.
You use your water bottle as a level. Don't have it completely full. Make sure you've got enough that when you lay that water bottle on its side on the ground, there you use it as a level. There it is. Perfect. I think that came from Darwin on the Trail. I think that's who that was. Posted a short, and on there he was showing how to do that. But hey, it's great. And if you don't know it, you don't know it. But that's an awesome tip to know on the trail. Another thing, if you're hiking in cold weather, and to the point that it could possibly freeze your water, when you're carrying your water in your backpack, you keep it upside down. And the girl says this that I was following, says she was through hiking the 18. I asked her, why do you turn it upside down? She said, because it freezes on top first. And if you had it right side up, it would be froze at the entry or where you're going to try to drink from. It's going to be frozen. She said, you turn it upside down, it freezes at the bottom of the bottle, and you can still drink out of the top. I'm like, tip of the day. I'm telling you, and they learned that by doing it. So man, research, watch a lot of videos, talk to a lot of people, try out your gear before you go, regardless of what backpack. Make sure it fits, and it's comfortable. Then make sure it's
just figure it out. Just suffer.
It's like the day before we headed out for that hike. I went out, I threw it on, and even grabbed some extra weight to put on my fancy new accelerated reading book, and went out, hiked my pasture with it.
Man, it's rucking.
Yeah.
You got one life, ruck it.
Matter of fact, I think I got myself on camera doing it.
They said they got a new trail at Sardis.
Me?
Did you say that?
Mm-mm. That was the voices in your head. They have a new walking track at Enid.
Oh,
it's a half mile. It's on the nose. Look there.
Let's see it. Bring it back up. I can't. Let me pull it up. I can see. Look at that, man. He's out there. Look like he's hunting.
Yeah, buddy. But no, he wasn't hunting because he didn't have orange on. But anyway, we'll move on. But the thing, they put in a half-mile walking track beside the softball field at Enid Lake, and they're eventually going to build a playground in the middle of that walking track so parents can come and walk and be able to still keep their eyes on their children. But it's crushed stone right now. They will eventually asphalt that. But I go over there. That's what I've done even this past week. Ever since my heart thing, that's where I go because it's level. But I've started adding that road that comes from the top of the dam down to the spillway. That's a quarter of a mile up. So, and it's only like 80 something feet of elevation, but that's good for me right now until I see that doctor face to face. So I go down there and I walk the track once, go up the dam, come back down the dam.
Man, watch your mouth.
Yeah, I jogged half of the circle, which is a quarter mile. Then I walk, cool down, walk back to my Jeep. The other day I did an extra. I went up the dam and back down again, and walked one loop. So I did two. And I know, look, when it's in you and it's just natural to talk that way, it just comes out and you don't even know it. So look, I'm guilty as charged, but but that's the most I've done since our trip was 2.5 miles at one time.
I might need to go down there and run.
Say again?
I might need to go down there and run on the track.
Oh yeah. Hey, and before when I was practicing for some of those hikes or prepping for, I should say, I was actually even going up and down the actual dam, the levee itself, instead of that road. I think you get about 100 feet if you're halfway down, and you go up. I think it shows 100 feet or something right at it.
Like your little hill sprints, for Spartan training.
It is,
yeah.
And if you park at the tennis court, playground, softball, restroom at the bottom below the levee, if you make that loop, if you go up, no matter which way you want to go or what direction, but you do that and go up and come across the top of the levee and back down, it's a 5K every time, every day.
5K.
You might need to do that. I ain't running.
We need to put some running miles down there, Peyton. That's some new territory we can mark up on Strava. Owen, do you want to go on like a backpacking trip, bro? That sounds like it'd be fun. You're young and capable. Owen wants to go camping.
I don't know, man.
Get your
Bird
gear, bro.
Society, bro. We're here to build men.
Yeah.
We're gonna build a man before he's a man.
I don't know if he's old enough yet. He's only 12.
Oh yeah.
He might be.
Yeah. No.
Oh, and he is
no
the
firearm
he's the
training yet.
pastor at Adonai. He wants to go. He's 11. Okay. Sorry, Owen. I didn't mean to make you older than you are.
Yeah. I would have took that and ran with it if I was 11. You know.
I didn't run at all at 11.
Probably ran your mouth.
Oh, that yes, many miles. If you could measure those miles,
Marathons, ultra marathons.
Got a lot of training throughout the years for that.
Peyton,
so,
do you have?
What's the one sound you don't want to hear backpacking while you're camping at night and you're in your sleeping bag?
Banjo.
Do what?
Banjo.
You might hear gunshots.
Hold on. What? It's supposed to be. Here we go.
It's kind of creepy. Yeah, if you hear any of that in the middle of the night,
gone. Leave the tent. Leave the backpack. Gone.
No, I feel like hearing a child when you didn't bring a child would scare me a lot more than that.
But, you just start hearing a baby
oh
crying.
no, man! Yeah, that would be a little weird now. Yeah, we might have to leave on that one. Yeah. Hey, we heard coyotes our night when we were camping. They kicked up one time pretty good at night.
When
you're I heard.
When you're out backpacking, do you carry on you then? Or do you?
Yeah, I typically don't. Especially like the AT. If I'm on one of those, in which you can meet crazy people. I mean, you meet me on the trail, you just met a crazy person. But the AT really is populated enough that typically there's no issues. There have been murders on the AT with some people who had mental issues, but I typically don't. When we went on this trip, I didn't. If I was going into especially if I was soloing, if I was going into a known area that was known for aggressive bears. No, I'm not talking about bears that just come into a camp to try to get the food that people left and everything, but aggressive bears, then I probably would. But outside of that, the 18, you have to know the regulations for whatever trail you're on, what area you're in. Most of them go by city, county, or state laws. So you better make sure you meet all the permit requirements if there are permits required. All I can say is, but carry especially if you're with someone else hiking, just carry the lightest handgun you can carry, like in a 22 or 25 ACP. And most people go, you think that'll kill a bear? And I'm like, no, if I shoot the dude with me in the knee, I won't have to worry about the bear. You got to do what you got to do. You just got to do what you got to do. That's all I can say. Now who wants to hike with me?
I don't know. Just had to bring a bigger gun than
that,
I guess.
Solo next stuff.
I don't know. The way Peyton says, man, we might not even be close together. He said he'd get what's it? I don't even know what he dusted you.
Oh, look, man, that's just life, isn't it?
Yeah.
Look, the only thing I worry. Look, you know what I worry about more on hike, especially like that trail we did that day. We hiked 6 miles on the road. You know what my biggest fear on that hike is? Dogs. Oh
Yeah.
man, dogs coming out of yards after you and stuff. Man, I'll pull my trekking. We'll be walking on flat asphalt. I see a dog, my trekking poles are coming out and getting extended. I get that they're going to be used if I have to.
Tracked
We
upside
had
the
2
head.
dogs come out and walk with us, so they were actually friendly. They looked crazy, but they were friendly. Saw Sasquatch. I mean, we saw Sasquatch on our hike. Got a good, probably one of the best pictures I ever seen of that dude. And you can go back and look at
That was just Peyton.
Take a Hike Fitness, man. You go back and look at it, and I hadn't posted anything on my Take a Hike Fitness Instagram or Facebook pages since we got back, because I don't want to go on there. I'm not hiking right now, really, and I'm not going to go on there and show some half-informed story about my heart or nothing. I may post about pictures of our trip. But right now, once I get the final word and I'm back on the trail or whatever we're doing, then I'll probably do a post for an update, and be able to have accurate information of what really happened. Because, hey, that may help somebody else on the trail, one day. So I hope to get back hiking soon. When I'm saying hiking, I'm talking backpacking with all my pack and extended miles, and get back to a life I enjoy on the trail. But right now, I'm just doing some short walks on flat ground primarily.
I think every picture I saw of Peyton, he just looked like he did not want to be there.
Every picture I saw, that dude was eating.
He probably didn't eat enough.
I don't think I did. I know we had the little dehydrated meals. He was like
full of calories.
When we were getting ready to pack them up and stuff, he was like, these things have 2 servings in them, and I'm over here like, that bag's 1 serving for me, man.
Half a serving.
I ate the whole bag of it, and he offered me his food. I'm like, I think I'll be all right.
After that day on the trail, I couldn't even eat that night. I couldn't eat. I still don't know what happened, but hey, here I am. That's all I can say. Thank God.
Here you are.
Here I am.
That's all you can do. You never know. I got some other questions I got on here, but I don't know if I want to get into those or not, because it's probably an hour and a half.
Yeah, we can do another one. I'm good for another one sometime. Not saying that question right now. I'm saying I'm good for another night on another podcast.
Yeah.
Peyton, I want to know what's on your blind back there.
That's a monkey.
Oh, okay.
Oh, where's it at? Yeah, that's a monkey.
Okay.
It's been there since I moved into this house, and I just won't move it.
Yeah, like somebody else asked him about that.
It looked like your dog left you a gift back there.
Yeah.
Pooped on your blind.
Yeah. I got, it was a few years ago, I looked up and realized, like, wow, that thing's been here since I moved into this house. Like, when was that? Almost 14 years ago. I'm just like, I'm not moving it.
Do you have that information in front of you? You said, like, when you look over at something, it's like 14 years ago.
Oh, yeah.
I was looking at what year it was.
He also has every tab he's ever open on his computer. So he knows he has a tab from 14 years ago on there.
Why do you have the year that you moved in that house accessible on your screen or whatever you're looking at?
No, I was looking at what year today was. I was 10 years old when we moved into the house.
Okay.
No. Yeah, I was 10, so it was in July.
Careful. Don't hurt yourself.
No, actually, I was 9. It was June of 2010 when I moved to the house.
Sapanola math.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of Sapanola and me being 10, that year I moved into this house. That was I was going to some summer school thing. I don't even know why I was having to do it. But yeah, what grade was I in? I don't know. I was 9. But I had to do, I think it was like 4th grade or something. I had to go into a summer school thing. And I remember this kid in my class that was in there with me. we went to the restroom one day. Everybody did. And then my teacher notices the light goes out in the restroom. And then it comes back on. And when I walk out, she just blames me for it. So I got called light switch the rest of the month.
Okay.
Or the rest of the summer. That was just like, that was my nickname. And I'm like, I didn't even do it. Yeah, anyway, that was my little pity party.
Oh, light switch.
But, yeah.
Light switch. We need to remember that.
Switch. Cut it down. No, we just cut it down to switch. What's up, switch?
Yeah, what's up, switch? It might, if you say it too fast, it might sound a little. And Peyton, to give us a little hint about the forge, what you have planning. Do you have any way you could give us a hint on anything? You got anything special?
I know everybody's waking up to gunshots.
Dude, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Roger's like, what kind of camping trip is this?
I want to. That's something me and Dylan's been joking about. We've been saying like the Peyton Franklin. We're gonna go up next to his tent, and we're gonna get everybody awake before Peyton, and we're just gonna start popping rounds off and just wake them up.
Slip some ear protection on him first. Well, he probably won't even hear it.
Just slip a little food right on the edge of his tent. He'll get woke up with a surprise. Raccoons and everything else will come into that dude at night.
He'll probably be the first one to sleep and the last one up.
But yeah, does Roger know about what this forest is?
No.
All right, so I don't know if it was you or Carson that came up with it. I guess it was
me.
Because after that video Dylan posted that was considered controversial but wasn't controversial at all. Him and Carson decided. I don't even know. Carson started posting some of his graphic designs in our group chat about the Burden
I came
Society.
up with the name. Just that. There we go. I came up with the name that day, and then it was like within 10 minutes, Carson sent graphics.
Oh wow!
And it was like some of the best. So I come up with this. So I've been wanting to make like a community of some sorts online, but I just didn't know what to call it. So with the burden thing, I just called it Burden Society, and basically it's just a way I want to create a community online of like-minded men where we can just push each other to be better. And so from there, we're doing a quarterly. I say quarterly. We want to do it multiple times a year, kind of like a camp night. But we're gonna shoot guns. We're gonna do fitness. We're gonna sit around the campfire, and we're gonna talk about. I don't know of a good word for it, but we're gonna have like a message, and we're just basically going. I don't know what to call it because I don't want to say it's like a devotion because that's to me that sounds a little softer than I want it to be.
Ooh.
but you probably know what I'm saying. But
yeah, I hear you.
We're gonna do stuff like that. It's kind of like a challenge, but it's not like just like a fitness only. It's more like it's like 24 hours.
Mixing all the F's up.
Yeah, it's 24 hours where we're just gonna push you as a man in all fronts. And we're doing it with you, so
there's gonna be some discussions about one, what it takes to be a man, what's expected of you being a man, and then how you become better men. I'm not the one talking, so I don't know what they're gonna actually say regarding that.
Yeah,
but we're gonna have some fitness. We're gonna run some firearm drills and range time. We're gonna set up like actual camps. So it's not going to be like backpacking, but we're going to try to make it as primitive as possible and just kind of
I kind of
use it as
suggested that everybody kind of go towards the backpacking type camp setup when they're buying gear, just because I want to actually take this to backpacking and I don't want everybody to have to buy multiple sets of gear. I mean, you're going to have to eventually, it's going to happen, but
on the weekend you're talking about, are you going to actually have to hike in miles to wherever you're going, or is it going to be pretty much a pull up?
Yeah, it's going to be pull up, but we're going to do some hiking. But
Well, right, but you're going to have a base set up that you're going to work from. The reason I say if you're going to do firearm drills and everything, I've got a rubber, half person rubber dummy. And all you do is spray him with white primer.
Okay.
And every time you pop him, you see the black. It's black rubber, and after you shoot it up, if you're getting confused, you just reprimer him again and keep going. It's self-healing. You can shoot that dude as many times as you want.
That's cool.
And it's good because it's actual size, and you can shoot from different angles. It's a real good practice. So it's something y'all can use if you want to do that.
Yeah, we might need to pick that up, Peyton.
Yeah.
I'll tell you another drill. Go ahead.
We've been thinking of like I've been thinking of kind of like which targets we're even going to use because I don't have any steel targets or anything yet. So I've been trying to talk with Dylan because we're supposed to be doing range time, but I have absolutely no idea which targets we're using.
Yeah.
We'll make something work.
I'll tell you another drill that's awesome, and it's night fire. And we've done that here before. And what you do, you stand, 5 to maybe 5 yards from this thing, even if that, and it's jet black, and you're standing there ready, and the guy stands over your shoulder and he bumps a flashlight, and you start backing away at an angle, and you keep firing till you unload, or how many rounds you say, 5 or 10 rounds. And I'm going to tell you what, it is amazing how your mind in total darkness remembers where that target is. There were several people shot better on doing that at night fire at night when you just bump the target with a light, and they're backing away blind shooting. It was amazing how many people shot. Yeah, they shot better doing that than during day fire when they were trying to just hold on something and trying to get it right, and their muscles were all tense and everything was and they were just pulling off and twisting. And that night fire is amazing what you can do with that dude if you're in a good, safe location.
Yeah. We I had the range time set up for the daytime, but we could probably, if you say that, there's some stuff we could do in the dark. That's the bad part about this time of year.
And y'all keep repeating this, and at some point down the road on one of your camp outs, what you do, you need to get up where you can build up a decent armory of paintball guns.
Yeah.
But then listen, you set up another group that at whatever time they determine during the night, they attack you. Oh, yeah, man, that would be awesome. Oh, yeah. But don't tell Peyton.
Yeah.
Hey, man, you know what we're going to have to implement later on? Going to have to start mimicking, like, some combat tests, but, like, airsoft. I don't want to get shot at by, like, real guns. But, well, I mean, if you pay enough money, I'll let you do it. But
you can use airsoft instead of paintball for even what I was talking about. But, man, during the middle of the night and you asleep, you get come under attack. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, airsoft probably be a little better. Don't hit everybody's stuff.
But you can't deny you got hit with that paintball.
That's true.
They get close on that airsoft, you won't deny it. You'll carry the marks on you.
They'll light you up until you say you hit. Well, boys, that's what we're doing. The Forge.
Well, that sounds awesome.
Yeah, we get you to come on one, and you could talk at least. Come and then leave, or whatever you want to do.
Yeah, we'll make the Saturday for him to talk.
Yeah,
and then day one or whichever it ends up being, we'll do our actual stuff.
Yeah, he can come, and then that'll be at least 12 hours.
Yeah, there you fill up the day,
that's an easy plan, easy itinerary.
Had to be a 2-day Forge. Boys,
y'all be careful. I'm sensitive,
No, it's good. It's just because you got that wisdom.
Oh, it's called the gift of gab.
Yeah,
we'll set aside the first 24 hours for our targets and stuff, and we'll set aside the next 24 for Roger speaking and sleeping. Yeah,
exactly.
Had a guy today at church said he'd been having some trouble sleeping. I said, well, I said, we don't record and broadcast right now my sermons on Sundays. I said, but hey, you can get on our church site and back up, a month or two, and you can watch one of my sermons. I said, that tends to put people to sleep. I said, if you're having difficulty going to sleep at night, so if you're having trouble sleeping, let one of my sermons help.
Hey, that's one reason why I like take notes at church. That way, it makes me engage, and I'll stay awake for sure.
I see you going to sleep. I use your name in an illustration. Because you hear your name come from the pulpit, you usually wake up. Yeah, you'll wait for the rest of the service. Then it don't matter at that point. So.
There's been a couple of times here recently. I'll be falling asleep, and he'll start talking about the hiking trip. I'm like, okay, I'm like,
yeah. I said something about David. I didn't see something. Typically when I'm preaching, I don't see anything in the room that takes place in the room. I see people, I see their faces, but I never see anything that takes place in the room. And I think that's just. Yeah, God gives me the ability to not be distracted at that point. So,
a couple of weeks ago, we had a family come sing, and I remember Jordan was telling me that he had the guy that was singing was saying, like, now that everybody's awake now and here, and Jordan told me after service, he's like, yeah, except Peyton. Every time I look up, people are laughing at me. I was tired. I think that was the night I had. That was after the snowstorm, or what? No,
the snowstorm came that day. That was the day it started, because they drove back into it that day going home.
Oh, so that wasn't the time that I had to work that Saturday.
No, you were just sleeping.
Yeah, I just fell asleep really early Saturday, so I woke up at like 10 o'clock Saturday night, and then was awake.
It's because you drink C4 and not Redcon 1. That's why I sleep so much.
You built up immunity to it.
Yeah, it don't even work on me anymore.
You can sure do it. Look, I hadn't drank any Total War, and I don't know when. And actually Friday on my bus, I'm like, I'm gonna see what it does. So I checked my pulse rate and everything. Man, I didn't drink a fourth of my little bottle of water with one scoop in it, and man, I could feel the stinging in my face. And I was like, yeah.
Like, I just drank C4, during this whole time, and I'm at a 58 heart rate. It don't even do anything.
Let's see. I'm at 60.
I thought he was going to say 6. I'm like, boy, you beat me.
I'm winning. Heart don't work. I'm plugged into the wall right now. That's what keeping me alive.
I'm at 79, so.
Life support.
Last time we was on, we were comparing resting heart rates.
Yeah.
My resting heart rate is 56. Huh?
Mine's 57.
My 7-day average is 57. My average day is 56.
Actually, I got
56 for 7 days. So we switched.
Yep.
When's that heart rate?
Wednesday I was low. It's like in the
my resting heart rate's 46.
Or
you the man,
50s, but the 40s.
That's what the doctor.
46.
Matt Robertson went to the doctor, and his was that low. That doctor told him, "You either mighty healthy or mighty sick. We just got to figure out which one it is."
Well, all that running.
This might just be today, but I'm trying to find out how to do it online to where I'm seeing everything.
And that was one thing, Dylan, that I think that I want to work on, because kind of like you talking about the C4 or any pre-workout, anything like that, your body can become accustomed to it. So once I stopped trying to even run or jog, and I started just hiking, even at Sardis on those trails, doing those trails. Well, once I did them, several times over, my heart rate wouldn't come up. Yeah. So what I do, I got my ruck bag out, and I first started with my 20-pound plate, and that brought my heart rate up. Well, a week of that, nothing. So then I put the 30-pound in there. I worked up to 40 pounds on my ruck pack just to try to elevate my heart rate some while I was hiking. So I think that's one thing I'm going to do, preparing at least for the warm weather, is I'm going to start doing some more. Hey, reactivated our gym membership this week, because I need to start doing something to more cardio. because my hiking doesn't do cardio anymore. It doesn't elevate my heart rate enough. So I think that'll really help me with my breathing on the inclines, even on the way it normally is. Now, I don't know if that would have helped, on this last trip, or if this last trip just really exposed how bad my cardio honestly was. Now, I don't know. Maybe we'll figure it out or not. But it can't. Well, I say it can't hurt me. It may kill me. I may die. Trying to do cardio. Who knows? We'll see. But if so, you'll have to get somebody else for the next podcast. But the thing is, that's one thing I'm going to work on. Do what?
Who's next in line? Jonathan.
Yeah. There you go. You better get Jordan before he leaves.
Him on there.
Hey,
let's
get Jordan before he leaves.
Line it up, Peyton.
Yeah, you have to get Jordan before he leaves, or you can do one from Jordan from Nepal. Hey,
or both.
Y'all will go international.
International guest, man.
Yes, sir.
I was actually looking at my resting heart rate trends over like the past year. I would definitely say it was much lower during my marathon prep. I say much, like, 1 or 2 beats, but I mean, that's when it's in the 40s. I know when I was peaking, it was at 44, and it was that for several weeks.
Wow.
I need to get back into cardio too.
But, so far this year, this week has been high. It's been 50 this week, but my average for the whole last year was 46 resting heart rate.
That is awesome.
Maybe that's a good sign. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been hearing, I'll hear Roger on the phone with people while I'm half asleep talking about his heart, and I'm like, oh, 40's low? Oh, okay.
It is for an old fat man. My heart rate for resting average heart rate for the year was 55.
It says, I just Googled what is a good resting heart rate, and it says for adults, a normal resting heart rate ranges between 60 and 100.
Yep. And then if you're athletic, it should give you a little bit lower bracket if you're athletic. It is a healthy normal. Someone who is athletic, good health and athletic, to come down into the 50s. I don't know how much they say. Hey, look up somebody like, what's his name? Usain Bull or whatever it was. What's his name?
Usain Bolt.
Yeah. Look his up, see what it is.
Around 33.
There you go. So, look, I wasn't dying. I'm just in great shape. Yeah. But look and see what his VO2 max is. There's the difference.
7 million.
That's going to be sure.
Yeah.
87.
See, when you look at resting heart rate, then you also have to look at that VO2 max. And when you're at 34, when your heart rate and your VO2 max equal, that's not real good.
I'm going to see what mine is. VO2 max. Mine's 46.
Mine's 34.
Let's see.
And it's been there for years. Couldn't
mine
get it
went
to
up
move.
to 48 now.
Oh, we're
Look
pretty
at
close.
you.
Nice.
I need to do some.
One good thing about turning 60, which I'm 61 now, but when I turned 60, I took a picture of it and sent it to Matt Robertson. My VO2 max had been poor ever since. Was the Garmin rating was poor ever since I've started trying to exercise. Couldn't get it past 34. It didn't matter what I did. Look, the day I turned 60, it went from poor to fair. It's still a 34, but for a 64-year-old, they grade that as fair. So I'm like, hey, one advantage of turning 60, your VO2 max grade goes up.
Well, I couldn't find Usain Bolt's VO2, but some guy named Oscar Svensson, that's some
Oscar
dude.
Yeah.
97.5.
That's my O2 sat.
That was in 2012 while he was 18 years old.
That is just crazy. Oh, Oscar, man. I ain't heard that name. Man, it's been a long time. Actually, I've never heard that name. But anyway.
So I hit a low resting heart rate on Wednesday. I hit 48.
Look at you.
And it's so random because it's usually high 50s.
Yeah.
But I did do some intervals, running some speed intervals. but I only hit 158 high. I'm trying to see if there's a correlation between like cardio and your resting heart rate. But
my heart rate has done great when I go over here and hit that walking track and going up and down the dam. It like when me and Peyton, the first day we were going in on that 7 miles, 1,700 feet of elevation, and I was having to stop and try to get my breath. Well, my heart rate was like 85 or something. I'd ask Peyton, "What's your heart rate?" And he'd be like 120 or something, maybe 150, but I don't remember exactly. But mine wasn't increasing with exertion.
He's not used to that weight.
Yeah. Well, but the thing was, now I can go over here to the lake, and when I'm walking that flat ground at 3 point whatever miles an hour, it goes to about 112 to 115. When I go up to the top of the dam, it's somewhere between 155 and 160 when I peak at the top. Turn and start down, it's down to 130 by the time I get to the bottom of the hill. I get back on that track, and when I jog, it gets up into the 160s, and I walk it back down to 130 or whatever. By the time I get in my Jeep and start home, like the other day, it was down to 85, something like that. And after probably 15 to 20 minutes of recovery and rest after that, my blood pressure will be the best it's been since the last time I went over and walked the track. It'll be elevated. But after that little bit of exercise, it'll come down for several hours. But then by the time I go to bed, it's up to fat boy level again. So I need to lose some weight. I really need to lose some weight.
So I actually have the first day pulled up over here for our hike. It was 7.17 miles. Of course, a lot of that was me turning back around, looking for Roger.
Oh, listen to him now. Oh, man, that hurt. Somebody help me take this knife out.
But 7.17, almost 7.2 miles, 1,750 feet of elevation gain. My average heart rate was 116 and my max was 162. It's funny because it says during that activity, I have 3 hours and 8 minutes of moving time, yet the whole activity was 4.5 hours.
I'm looking. I show 7.1 miles. Well, it's trying to calculate now. My average heart rate was 103, it says. What was your average?
116.
Yeah. My max was 132.
Too, bro.
Mine was a max 132. But now the next day.
7 hours, though.
The next day, my average, it was I got 6.04 miles with an average heart rate of 54. And it showed, well, I have to go to this other page to get my max. My max was 82 for a 6 mile hike with my backpack, average 3 miles an hour, max 3.5. But so an average of 3 miles per hour with our packs on, my max heart rate only got to 82. Now, we were on pretty much level ground, don't get me wrong, but still, I can't do that right now.
So I was on 108 average, 152 max.
And that's where mine should have been. Like right now, it's 112 to 115 on flat ground at 3 miles an hour. So my heart rate my heart wasn't responding to the exertion. And I don't know if I overexerted the day before when I couldn't breathe. I don't know what was going on. But it was like once it recovered that night, then it wouldn't do it wouldn't come up. So I have no clue. But I still say I enjoyed the trip.
That's some good. You said your average was 116, but that's for 7 miles. How long did that take?
You talking to me?
Peyton.
It was a 4.5 hour hike, like activity anyway. But it said my moving time was like 3 hours.
What was your max heart rate?
162.
So that's some decent, like, easy, steady state cardio.
Yeah, it was when like the only time it jumped up, obviously, was like going up a hill, and there was a lot of hills.
So a lot.
Because even I had like, especially because what was it called, Terrapin Hill?
Terrapin, yeah.
Yeah, going up that, I stopped a couple times because my legs were getting a little tired. My calves is what was really eating me up.
I never went fast enough for my legs to know I was walking.
I need to start incorporating some of that. When I get my backpack I'm gonna like load it down and just start going to hike with it.
Hey, get your backpack. We'll go to Grenada. That's the trail. The Lost
Get your
Bluff
backpack,
Trail.
load it full of water bottles.
Yeah. Just keep your
Take
windows
off.
rolled up if you park in the parking lot.
Yeah. Well. Yeah, that might
We'll wear
shake
a
your
cup.
UPS package.
It's downhill now.
Peyton, we need to start doing some stuff, bro. On Sundays.
What do you mean?
Just like some
Hey, y'all
hiking
gonna
and
do
stuff.
y'all gonna do the Area 51?
Yeah, I'm planning on it. When is that? May?
May 4th.
Yeah.
So
May
Star
the
Wars
4th
Day.
be with you. Yeah.
Yeah, so we can do that.
And
I'm
it's
doing
Area
I'm planning-
51,
It makes
man.
sense now.
There you go. May the 4th be with
I'm
you.
done. I'm leaving. No, that's perfect. Yeah, I'm planning on doing it.
Actually, I wonder if it's on Ultra Sign Up.
He says 12K. What is it?
I'm about
Well,
to actually find out.
Yeah, there's a 5K and I think 12K.
Yeah, I'll probably do the 12K. I'm doing the 10K. It's like a week or two before.
Yeah, it's a 5K, 12K.
Yep. I just Saturday, May 4th.
Highly recommend carpooling though, because it's a very small parking lot.
Oh, and the toilet is a hole in the ground.
Well, I probably won't need a toilet.
I just wanted to point that out. I went in there waiting on Gavin on New Year's, and I go in there to pee, and I'm just staring into the blank darkness below the little outhouse thingy.
So it's an outhouse out there, but it's a hole
It's
in the
like
ground?
it's an actual restroom, but it just feels like an outhouse.
Dude was out there running in like 2-degree weather, come out with ice all over his face. I'm
Not
like,
me.
bro, this dude's crazy.
Bro, I've ran a few times this year, and every time I run, except once, it's been at least a 10K. And the one that was less was because of all the ice on the ground.
There's the bathroom.
Yeah, it feels like an outhouse inside of it. It's just like a straight, like you ain't got to flush.
Gravity fed.
Yeah.
Gravity. So that's something too. We need to bring a shovel out to the forge, man. Because
Just poop in a bag.
It's called a trowel.
yeah, we need to just find a hole. Just put it by the fire. Everybody has to poop right next to the fire.
Oh, God.
In front of
Throw it on the fire, man.
Yeah, just throw it
Let
on the fire,
burn.
man.
We'll start a garden.
No, yeah, we're gonna build a compost pile. Yeah, I'm planning on doing that. Are you gonna do it?
Me?
Yeah, do
I may
the
go
10K.
walk it.
Yeah.
I may go hike the 5K.
Or the 5K. Yeah, that's.
I don't know if I can do
you
12K
you
yet.
can do the
Look,
5. For
hey,
sure.
that's May. That's in May. So look, man, as long as I get the go ahead, I ought to be good to go. I mean, I won't run it at all, but I'll be glad to hike the 12K as long as they're gonna have somebody there to turn off the lights and lock the gate when I finally come dragging in.
And I'll say this, if you try to get on there and try to get there on time using GPS and you click the wrong one, it'll add like 10 to 20 minutes extra to your time because it leads you straight to the middle of the trail system. So it's factoring in walking the trail and stuff.
Oh, okay.
I left like so early that day I went up there, and I get up there like 10 minutes early. I'm like, what is going on? Yeah. It factors in, just throws you in the middle of the trail for the GPS. That's a word of advice for those traveling to go to the Area 51 race.
I'll reach down and pull
it's
it.
not the real Area 51, guys.
Shout out Area 51, guys.
This is in Memphis. Mississippi, so.
Hey, and then in Hernando, there's an Area 51 ice cream shop.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
They should move it to the Area 51 mountain bike trails.
Hey,
so it's actually a mountain bike trail?
Yeah.
That's what it is, yeah, mountain bike
I'm getting
trail.
a mountain bike then.
Man, it's got jumps and everything.
That's something I'd like to get into, mountain biking.
Not me.
Sounds like fun. I'm gonna actually ride a mountain bike on the 12K.
Sounds like work to me.
Who's gonna carry the bikes, man?
Exactly.
That's something I was a little upset we're not doing the forge at my house because I got 2 little 14-foot John boats. We could carry the boats.
We can do it at your house next time.
Yeah.
Try to make it different. Every forge is going to be a little different. So, you can't miss.
We're going to go on the side of Highway 6 for the third one.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll be ready to backpack by... That's probably going to be this fall, the third one. It's going to be hot on the second one, so we might as well do a lot of hard cardio with boats on our heads.
Hey, you do that one at the beach then, where you have to do everything in the sand and run in the sand, carry your loads in the sand, jump in the water to cool off.
All I'm saying, this is the only preview that anybody will get that's actually coming to the forge, so I don't know who watched the podcast or not.
None of them, probably.
But when we wake up in the morning, we will start the morning with a 1-mile run.
I mean, you just gave them like that wasn't even a good hint, bro.
Oh, that's not a hint. It's just like when you wake up at 4:30 that morning, we're getting up and running.
It's like when you
wait. You take 4:30?
Oh, yeah,
you just gave a good hint. Okay,
Are there 2 4:30s in one day?
We're waking up at 04:30. We're not waking up at 16:30.
Oh man, no, I'm out. It's never in.
You're overqualified. You're too fit.
Y'all need a videographer for this. Y'all really need to.
I'm gonna be shooting some for my channel, but we'll have 3 videographers there, but they're all gonna be participating.
Yeah, you need somebody that's not participating and actually do video a lot of it.
There's gonna be a lot of stuff that we're not.
It'd be a good way to sell the next one.
Yeah, exactly.
Y'all could reshoot it though. You could redo it. Do like all those hunting shows. You know, you go ahead and kill the deer, and then you go back and do all this looking and like you're, to
build suspense.
That's it.
To build suspense. It's gonna be fun though, and a couple years from now, it's gonna be like premiere event. Are y'all going to the forge?
Yeah, bro. It costs $2,000
for registration. You have $700 in registration fees.
We're gonna have different tier events.
Yeah.
You have your little tier 3 events.
It's gonna be the Forge Elite.
You know, your tier 1,
you have
tier
to
2,
pass
and tier
test,
1.
a fitness test.
With a waiver.
Yeah, you have to sign a waiver.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We're gonna actually create a waiver for some of this stuff.
We start shooting people with it. Airsoft.
Yeah, we're gonna start. Okay, we're gonna get everybody to bring their gear, and then we're gonna make sure it lives up to the standard of whether it's bulletproof or not. But they have to wear it.
Hey, did you see that? What Sean sent today, Peyton?
Yeah.
These 2 dudes in Arkansas got arrested. Apparently they got drunk and put their bulletproof vests on and started shooting each other.
What idiots!
I'm like, bro, if they're gonna be stupid, just look. I mean, they already took the hits. I mean,
they're already alive.
They're 2 consenting adults here.
Oh.
It's not like they shot anybody that didn't want to get shot.
That's right.
I mean,
that's right.
Did they live? I mean,
you may.
There you go. Did you die?
Exactly.
Hey, I got some ammo for some body armor.
I got some body armor coming in. Actually,
you'll see if that ammo really works when his body armor comes in.
Hey, yeah, you could test my ammo on your body armor.
Hey, everything we do.
Not wearing it. Don't wear it when you shoot
it. I'll be.
You gonna
loaded up.
You gonna wear body armor the whole time?
Yeah.
Just to make it harder, since you're way fitter than everybody else that'll be there. I thought about wearing my weight vest, but how much does body armor actually weigh?
Actually, I want to see. I think some 10x12 AR-500 level 3 armor.
Just say a bunch of letters and numbers.
Weight. 8.5 pounds per plate.
So it's like the women's weight.
Yeah.
That's how much your weight. That's how much your weight vest weighs.
But I'll have 6 mags in it,
Oh yeah.
And then I'll have my side pouches. And I'll have 2 more plates.
Are you gonna wear that the whole time?
They're little 6x6 side plates on the side of it.
So
I got those too.
You're really gonna be LARPing.
Yeah. And then I just ordered me a drop leg holster. And then I don't have a belt yet. I got to get a belt.
Uh-oh.
I need to get something.
I heard something clicking and clacking over there.
Are you talking about me? I'm just talking about Max.
Hey, I bought an AR.
Is it? What kind is it?
It's a Radical Arms, but it's a 300 Blackout. I bought it
That sounds cool.
For us to be able to deer hunt with back here.
300 Blackout just sounds cool.
It is cool.
You put
What
Blackout
you about
on
the
it.
6.8 Blackout? Oh yeah.
Say what now?
6.8 Blackout.
It's bigger, ain't it?
6.8 millimeters.
I don't know anything about that.
Somebody asked me. That wasn't you that asked me about that today, was it, Peyton? Somebody asked me about that. About that round today.
My dad gave me a 7
I'll pull something
millimeter.
up right quick while we're on the topic. You get to see how many tabs I have open too.
Oh my goodness!
What was it called? The fix.
Come down a little.
Look at this. What kind of bullet is this right here?
Go back down. Go back down. I can't even see it. There you go. Now back it away from the camera a little.
All right, what round we got here, guys?
You got a 5.56 and a 308.
No, you're right on 5.56.
Yeah, I know. I was just kind of throwing the other one.
It
makes 70.
Any legit hunting rifle round makes 5.56 look so small.
But I was what 30-06.
No, this is a 7 millimeter.
Oh wow!
Enough. I'm 18 years older. Yes, I've never actually had a 30-06 round in my hand or a 308 or a 7 millimeter. So I was just guessing.
Yeah. This is my
I'm
granddad's
18
gun.
years older. Please let me
my granddad
this rifle.
Passed away this last year, and he was really big hunter. My dad's a really big hunter, so he inherited all of his guns, and then
awesome.
my dad gave me this rifle the other day.
Oh wow!
I'll show it to you.
That's awesome.
Oh, we're about to get demonetized, and we're not even monetized.
I hope he doesn't accidentally fire it in the house. He's putting his ear muffs on for sound ear protection.
This is what it sounds like. So you just put the round in here, and then you find your target, like this toilet over here. But this dude is like, all right. So there's look how tall it is, bro.
Yeah.
That's a nice gun.
So my internet's not actually wanting to load this website, so I can pull this thing up. Oh wait, here we go.
My AR-15 video I did. You might not have seen it, but I got an AR-15 last year around the 4th of July, and me and Cookie did a video, and it's one of my top videos. You should watch it because it's hilarious.
I will.
We took
That's what I want.
We shot for like an hour before we actually hit anything, I feel like.
What they say is the 8.6 Blackout is designed as kind of like the 300 Blackout is to AR-15s, 8.6 is to AR-10s.
308.
And this is the company, I believe Q Firearms is who designed the round. And this is the Fix, which is their rifle that is one of the only rifles that's actually chambered in the 8.6 Blackout. Only problem is it's $3,300, but I would absolutely love to have it.
Yeah, he's rich, man. Net worth bigger than both of us combined.
I said I was going to pull up the round, and I didn't.
Yeah, one of my biggest shorts was actually I compared a 30-06 to the 5.56.
So that's why I thought you had the 5.56, 30-06 in your hand. You know,
I had the 30-06. I was borrowing it to go hunting when I was going camping a month ago, and we never went. So,
but since we're all pulling out our firearms, I guess
just don't know any clicking and clacking on the live stream.
Look at you.
Points.
Yeah, got the LPVO on it that's not sighted in yet.
What did you just buy? Hey, look. Let me show you something. See if you can see it. Can you see what that says?
Regions. Regina.
Yeah, it's actually my Regions account. And it sends me a message every time something hits with our debit card or hits our account. And every time my wife uses it, it sends me a notice. So I renamed it Regina and told her Regina's telling on you. So while we're sitting here talking at 12 minutes after 10, I got a notification of $19.31 was approved for Walmart.com.
So this
So
is
this
actually
podcast
what
has cost me.
this is actually what I got.
Hey,
We
you
got
brought that
on the way.
Tacticon, bro.
Yeah,
Tacticon's
got
budget stuff.
yeah. I actually just got their leg drop holster too. Yeah, I got this on the way with both
Oh, those
plates.
things
I
look
got the
so
trauma
cool.
pads for it as well.
What
And
does
I
that
have
do?
That's protect kind of, but yeah, it's to put behind your body armor, right? To kind of
In
help
case
some
it
of the
breaks.
blunt force.
Yeah.
And then I got the side plates going into my side pouches. I got
I'm holding you to it, bro.
with them.
You're gonna wear that the whole weekend.
Yes, that's my plan.
Except when you sleep. Of course.
Yeah, that's
Gotta sleep.
also my plan to not wear it when I sleep.
I might wear mine. I mean, bro, your workout weight vest. Your plates are like 8 pounds on that too.
Yeah, something like that.
So mine are 10 flat.
Or 9.
Yeah, I remember yours was like the total weight vest was 20 and mine was like 10. Mine started fraying. But apparently those are like, I thought I was like paying an arm and a leg for a vest. And you actually look at actual vests and them heifers are expensive.
But yeah, I'm gearing up for the.
I wonder if you could actually, are these things actually, like, did this stop at 22?
I was wanting to actually take my weight vest from the gym and test it out. Not while
Just
wearing
tape up
it,
the holes.
but
I had a former a guy who used to be a former teacher at South Panola was out here. We had a shooting class at our house one day, and afterwards, and we had the rubber dummy out. Well, he took a regular backpack like kids wear to school, and I forget how many school books, and they were just government issued school books back when they issued school books. He put them in that backpack, and he went through a series of weapons. He did a 9mm, a 380 9mm, a 40 cal, and then he shot it with a 5.56 from his AR, and not a single one of them penetrated the books and came through the backside of that pack to where the person would have been. And his point was that a lot of times, if in an active shooter situation or what is thought to be an active shooter situation, they'll tell the kids, leave everything there and run to the parking lot. And he said, you're leaving behind probably your best defense that you had with you. You're probably the very number one thing that could actually save your life in a true active shooter situation. You've just left it laying on the floor in the room. So that's amazing that, and I don't remember if it's like 3 books or whatever in that backpack. But they did. Of course, we posted it on public media, and he got called in and scolded by the school district, and was told to take it down and never do that because people might perceive it that he was representing the school, and if anybody tried that and then actually did get shot, or wounded or fatally wounded, that that the district could be liable and all that other Yahoo stuff. So I'm glad they just couldn't see that I was the one running the video. Because he actually was just going to do it and try, and I said, hey, you want me to video this, man? So we did, and then once he saw the results of it, he posted it. And But that's something good to remember, man. Something just as simple as
think-
school books.
I think the takeaway from that is like just read a lot and have your whole house lined with bookshelves,
Yes.
and then
Yes.
your knowledge will protect you.
Or stuff a backpack with books, and it's a lot cheaper than body armor.
Yeah, you need one for the front
Unless
and
you're in
back.
college, and then it costs a lot more.
Yeah.
He had to pay for those books. You do anything to those books they issued us back then, man.
Oh, man.
It wasn't good.
You accidentally mark it with your pencil. Expelled.
Like, bro, that was there before. I was already there. You see, I remember looking through those books. You know, they'll write in there.
Yep.
You know who got the book. You'll look back and it's like 15 years worth of students. You'll see like your older siblings in there. You'll see, it's just crazy. But how much was all your plates set up, Peyton?
Talk about for the one I just ordered.
I'm gonna do like him now. I'm gonna turn around and put you in the case.
I actually got to look up my receipt because I don't remember.
I wouldn't do that, mate.
Probably like 300 plus.
Yeah, I think it was like 318 or something.
That's pretty good. I'm gonna hold you to that though. Hope you do that. I'm gonna let everybody know.
No, 362 is my total.
Well, I feel like we're at a good stopping spot. Unless you have anything else to say, Peyton or Roger.
Oh, if I have something else to say?
Yeah, but yeah.
And in closing,
Yeah, there's another 20 to 30, 45 minutes.
Well, whatever.
I'm good. Looking forward to the next one. I've enjoyed it, guys.
Yeah,
Appreciate you letting me come on.
we'll get you back
yeah.
on. Probably be after the Forge.
That'd be fine. The 4th of what? Today is the 4th.
Yeah,
So it'll be
for
after
sure the
today?
fourth.
So it's
For
going to be
sure.
after the 4th?
yeah, it's gonna be
For
after
sure.
today for sure.
After
I can
today.
guarantee that.
Hey, an hour and 40 minutes it'll be after today.
Yeah, it's past my bedtime.
Hey man, I'm supposed to be at work.
Oops!
He's hanging
I'm
in there.
just
He's
kidding.
loyal to the podcast
Yeah, man, I show up.
every time, the whole time,
I show up 60% of the time every time.
all the time, for sure. Well, I appreciate
Hey,
you coming on.
thank you. I enjoyed it.
If you're watching, I appreciate you listening. It's a good little chat today. Hope you got some takeaways from it. Subscribe, follow us, whatever you want to do. All the normal stuff we say every time.
Listen to a bunch of random dudes
Yeah.
talk about some random stuff.
Click the links. You know what about Peyton closes out. Closes out in prayer.
Man, go look up Take a Hike Fitness. Oh wait, what?
Oh.
Take a Hike Fitness. Go get his ambassador code for what?
Hit that
Redcon mud
super
gear.
chat. Hit that super chat button and help.
Yeah, send $20.
$20. We'll shut up. We'll actually stop the podcast for
Yeah.
tonight.
For sure. We're staying until we get 20.
We'll stop it for an hour and 40 minutes, and then
We'll start back tomorrow.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it. I enjoyed it.
oh yeah, thanks for hanging out.
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah.
We'll see you guys next time.
All right.